Greetings, my name is George Boston Rhymes, and this is Boston G.B.R. on YouTube. This evening I want to talk about the Brooks County School Board of Education and how I, George Boston Rhymes, have been denied the right to address the elected officials in Brooks County, how I have been unable to get on the agenda, how my open records requests have been ignored, how the President, Brad Shealy, and the Superintendent, Folsom, seems to do everything but respond to my valid requests. For nearly 6 months, November be 7 months, that I've been trying to get on the Brooks County School Board of Education agenda. Yet I have been ignored. I get emails telling me our policy is 7 days before the meeting, you must have it in writing. You must have the reason for which you want to address the board. Then, after I did everything that was required of me, they even told me that they would meet with me before the meeting in some office at the school to try and resolve the problem that I may have. I said to them that I simply wanted to do, as I have done in Ramstein, Germany Board of Education, Omaha, Nebraska Board of Education, San Antonio, Texas Board of Education, Klamath Falls, Oregon Board of Education, in dealing with my own children, as well as Valdosta, Georgia, only 18 miles from Brooks County, wherein you do not have to wait 7 days. You can go on the night of the Board of Education meeting here in Valdosta, a metro city, sign at the door, state the reason that you want to speak with your elected officials, and your requests are granted. They will give you 2 to 3 minutes, 4, whatever the case may be. If you are a group, they ask that a spokesperson speak on behalf of the group to save time. However, in Brooks County, President Brad Shealy and the superintendent apparently does not want the citizens to address the issues concerning the education of the children in Quitman and Brooks County. Now, before I get into the open records requests, I just want to say to you that I'm a graduate from the Brooks County school system. I graduated from Washington Street High School, a segregated all-black high school. Robert C. Marshall was the principal. This is my graduation book from the Washington Street Wildcats. In this book, when you open it, is a picture of Washington Street High School, a very proud all-black school. And from this all-black school, we competed with whites, Asians, and everywhere else, wherein we took tests, even to go into the armed forces. But in our book, graduation book, is a white European man by the name of County School Superintendent J. Herbert Wells. And of course, Robert C. Marshall was the principal at Washington Street High School in Quitman, Georgia. But a white man always have been the superintendent, at least when I was going to Washington Street High School. And to my knowledge, a black has never in the history of Quitman and Brooks County, Georgia, been the superintendent of schools in Brooks County. Now, Nancy Denner, a black African American, highly educated, PhD, highly qualified, if not overqualified, to serve in that office. And she was elected by the board. However, it seems as if though there are some who do not want blacks to control anything in the Brooks County school system. And to really bring it to the forefront, it seems as if though the Quitman 10 case, wherein 10 black African Americans were arrested for alleged voter fraud, absentee ballot voter fraud, were arrested in December of 2010, and until this date, October the 10th, 2012, they still have not gone to trial. Republican Governor Nathan Deal removed the 3 members of the Quitman 10 that were arrested, now the Quitman 10 plus 2, removed 3 people from the Board of Education, in my humble opinion, disenfranchising the people and the voters in Quitman and Brooks County. However, according to what I read, under the authority of the executive order, executive order of Nathan Deal, a Republican governor, removed them by a committee that he selected, and they got the job done, and they were removed. However, from what I read, they should be placed back on the school board of education because they did not go to trial within a certain established period as in the Georgia law, as I understand it. Yet, I cannot understand how you can replace elected people on the board without involving the citizens of Brooks County. The people that were placed on the board may be good people, may be qualified people, but that's not the point. We are living in America, and why couldn't Republican Governor Nathan Deal wait under the scales of balance and of the scales of justice to let the court decide what was going on? Because we believe that there is a great racial divide that continues in Quitman and Brooks County. Now, the education that I got, the education that I received from the Wildcats and Washington Street High School under a black principal and a white superintendent, I was able to serve my country for over 20 years and compete with all schools in the United States of America. And by the way, not only did I serve, I have received many commendation medals and other medals and awards while in the United States Air Force. And this was during the Vietnam era, yet only to return back to Brooks County, retired here in Valdosta. My family once owned 48 acres of land. My grandfather, obvious black African American, sold a few acres, and we still have land in Brooks County. Yet I cannot address the school board of education. I am 100% sure that eventually I will be able to address the Brooks County School Board of Education, number one. And number two, they keep sending me a copy of the policy, as if though I don't understand the process. I know policy. There was a policy that kept my grandmother from voting. There was a policy that labeled my people 3/5 of a human being. There was a policy that had 2 black theaters in Quitman, one for blacks and one for white. Blacks was on one side, the upper or the lower floor, but it was done by policy and by law. We understand that blacks in certain restaurants in Quitman by policy could not go in to the various restaurants, and if they went to some, they had to go through the back door. So we understand policy. We understand that we had to go to a black school, not all black school, not by choice, but by policy and law in Brooks County. So we understand policy. We understand policy that we could not use the restrooms. We were not permitted to be on Bonanza or Stagecourt West or Rawhide or Gunsmoke or Andy Griffin Show or Days of Our Lives, The Edge of Night, Tombstone Territory, The Tall Man, Paladin, Have Gun Will Travel. By policy and by the laws, we were not permitted to do what others did. Yet, we could go fight and die for this nation, but we cannot even stand before the Brooks County School Board of Education. And so we understand policy. President Brad Shealy and members of the Brooks County Board of Education, I sent my letter to the Brooks County Board of Education respectively, because I wanted everybody on that board to have a chance to weigh what I was asking for and respect me as a tax-paying citizen, as a retired military disabled veteran, as a citizen of the state of Georgia, as a citizen of the United States of America, and that I should not be denied the right to address my elected officials in the presence of my peers, in the presence of my family members, in the presence of other school officials and the guests and the news media and TV stations who may be attending. That was my right. So I wanted to be known that I have been denied my rights under the Georgia laws and possibly the Constitution of the United States of America. So this will not rest, because me addressing the board of the Brooks County school system is not about me. It's not just about me, but it's about every tax-paying citizen and other guardians or parents or concerned citizens that come to Quitman or Brooks County or more, wherever they come, to address the educational process of their children. And to be denied that right for me or any other citizen is not in the best interest of the citizens in Brooks County, nor under our form of government. So as I get ready to close, Superintendent Brad Shealy and other board members, along with Ms. Folsom, the superintendent, make no mistake about my request. It is real as Memorex. In fact, more real than Memorex. And you can send me all these emails about, we sent you a copy of the policy, we answered your questions, which you did not. But what's going to be so embarrassing, in my most humble opinion, is the pointed questions that I asked and your response to me. I think it's going to be embarrassing. I'm saving them. Now, on video, I want the people of Brooks County and everybody in the state of Georgia to understand something. I want you to understand, number one, that I requested under Georgia Open Records law, how many people, not just people who are connected with the school system, how many parents, how many common everyday people have addressed the Brooks County Board of Education by getting on the agenda. Listen, how many people have actually got on the Brooks County Board of Election agenda? Ms. Folsom, President Brad, Sheila, how many people? Now anybody can understand that. I believe a 5th grader can understand that request. Number one, I'm going to say it again because somebody have problems understanding it. I requested to know the number of people that have addressed the Brooks County School Board of Education for the last 18 months. That's the question that I asked. You did not answer that question to my satisfaction. And I'm going to put it on YouTube beneath this clip because I want everybody to see how our educators and our superintendent answered my valid questions. I may rewrite them and I may submit them again. I may submit a request again to get on the School Board of Education for the 5th or 6th time. I do that because that's the flavor of my nature and the nature of my flavor. And so we want to close this out by saying to President Brad Shealy, Superintendent Folsom, to Assistant President or Vice President Mr. Cunningham, and to other board members, that I have been diagnosed as being at least of average intelligence. And I'm saying at least because it was in writing slightly above that level. And I will assure you that eventually you will respond to my request on behalf of black, white, Asians, etc., 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 Native Americans who desire to get on the Brooks County School Board of Education. Now, I know the process because I'm a former president of the NAACP, active with the SCLC, active with the Quitman 10, active with everybody that's fighting for justice and equality under the law and the scales and balance here. But my question is, why stand in opposition of a fight and struggle that you cannot win? Don't you not know that the people in Brooks County, in the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America have a right not to have impediments put before them so they cannot address the people that they vote into office? Did you read the old 1860 Valdosta City Charter that was removed from Judge Edwards' courtroom on the 2nd floor of City Hall in Valdosta? If you haven't heard it, let me recite it for you now. Before I had it removed, because I don't believe that it was in the best interest of our active duty, retired, and everyday citizens in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. And so it was eventually removed, but it was against the mayor, John Freddy, the previous mayor, and certain council members. But eventually it was removed, and here's what it said. Article 100, paragraph 11, I believe it was. But here's what it said. That the mayor and council shall pass all proper and necessary laws and ordinances for the control of slaves and free persons of color, and to control, suppress, and abate all nuisances arising from hogs, dogs, horses, and other livestock in Valdosta, Georgia. That was an 1860 charter that was only removed after I saw it being displayed with honor in a public building leading into the municipal court judge's courtroom, wherein all people came expecting justice under the law. And so, Ms. Folsom, I received your email. I want to say to you, I already have a copy of the policy. You can send me policies all year long. I've seen policies change, and you know that. If you're a good superintendent, you know that. And President Brad Shealy, I know you know that. Policies are written every day. They are changed for the will and the good of the people, and to align themselves with the scales and balances of justice that you definitely ought to know about. And so I want to say here, as I close, listen, I am 100% sure, 100% sure, that the citizens of Quitman, Marvin, Barney, and all other little areas surrounding and in the Brooks County, all those citizens will eventually acquire the right to address the Brooks County School Board of Education in a manner that is respected by the people and by the other people in the state of Georgia and in the United States of America. There is no need of citizens in Brooks County not being able to walk up and get on the agenda to address their elected officials. Moreover, the Quitman Free Press, in my most humble opinion, has failed to report what takes place at public meetings in Brooks County, in the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America. Now, that is a personal, private paper. They publish what they want. But I want it to be known that there was a meeting on July the 17th. And the beef of that meeting, what took place, number one, they never called the meeting to order. They never approved the agenda that they were operating under. They never approved the minutes for the previous meeting. As Dr. Dennett said, she questioned when did they publicize that meeting to the general public. I was called to that meeting by citizens who wanted me to have a record so everybody could see what goes on at the Brooks County Board of Elections, not school board. So apparently we don't only have problems with the Brooks County School Board, but we also have major problems in the Brooks County Board of Elections office. The Quitman Free Press, nor the Valdosta Daily Times, nor any other newspaper in South Georgia, no television station covered what took place at that meeting, but I did, and it's on YouTube. The fact that someone didn't know that I had a right to record what took place at a public meeting in Brooks County in the state of Georgia is obvious on the video. In addition, a citizen brought before the Board of Elections that she and others had put in a request to serve as a poll worker and poll watcher, but they never got a response back from their request. It was ignored. That people were left off the ballots in a certain district, such as James Maxwell district. All this was brought up. And can you imagine that not being published in the professional news media networks here in Valdosta and Brooks County, Georgia, or in Thomas County? Can you imagine that not being published? How will the people know what's going on in their community? Y'all have to listen to me, because I've been saying it for decades that 1860 mentality is prevalent throughout the South Georgia area, while CNN MSNBC, ABC, CBS, and other major news networks side with this deafening and dumbing down process to keep the people ignorant. And they cannot say that they did not receive this information. The Examiner, Patrick Davis in Macon, have been on point, and he reports it. John Quitman, a blog and YouTuber just like me, he reports it. But there is the old 1860 mentalities who suppress and abate and control all nuisances arriving from human beings. Now, it used to be against blacks, but now it's against everybody. Now, if I was able to address the Board of Education and get on the agenda, if my open records request had been respected, as any citizen should expect and be entitled to, why would I cut this video? Why would I even do this video? Why would I even be here today? Why? It's because they did not, is the reason I'm here. And I know the good people of Brooks County, Quitman, and the surrounding area, I know you all appreciate what I'm doing. And I know you all do not like, let me repeat, I know you all do not like and you don't agree with your elected officials, Brad Shealy, President Brad Shealy, and Superintendent Folsom and members. You don't appreciate what they're doing. I know you don't. You can't. And there's no need for all of this. Now, I provided my phone number on every communication that I sent to the superintendent of schools and to the board members respectively. They could have called me. They could have asked me, George, specifically what questions are you asking, since they couldn't understand the email that I wrote. But they didn't do that. I called them when I first sent my first and second one. They the one told me what I needed in order to get on the agenda, and I did that. I did it several times. And as of October the 10th, I still have not been able to address the Brooks County School Board of Education. But today, or this afternoon, I will be able to attend that meeting. I have a choice of civil disobedience. I may or may not exercise my right to speak regardless of whether I'm arrested or not. Going to jail is not new for me. I don't mind going to jail. For all the people of Quitman and Brooks County and Marvin and Barney, and I have no problem with that. And so I just may have to do what the other civil rights leaders done in order to be heard in Brooks County, Georgia. And so I close by saying to you, I'm sorry that it took so long, but I'm doing it on behalf of the people and on behalf of our children receiving a quality education in Brooks County. And I do not believe that Brooks County should be any different from the other states that I called. Not even, it should not be any different from Valdosta or Lowndes County. And it just don't make sense. But we are going to make it a point, and we are going to make it an issue, because there's something seriously wrong in the Brooks County School Board of Education, and there's something seriously wrong with the Brooks County Board of Elections Office, and there's something wrong with the Quitman Free Press and the South Georgia News Media Network, when all this information at public meetings, public, not private, not in charter school, not in a private school, but when information from public meetings are not being published to the general public in our form of government, home of Moody Air Force Base, Valdosta State University, Georgia Wiregrass Technical College, Georgia Military College, Kenaloo Golf Course, Francis Lake Golf Course, Wild Adventures Theme Park,